Hello and good day everyone. This is Ms. Ronaldine Garcia and welcome to Basic Microeconomics. Our topic today is an introduction to the fundamental economics concept. The objectives for these chapters are: number 1, explain the basic terms and concepts in economics. 2, analyze the theories and practices of economics as applied in daily lives. 3, discuss how individual and society cope with the basic economic problems. 4, justify the pros and cons of different economic systems. And number 5, illustrate and explain the flow of economic activity. Now let's begin with defining what is economics. Others are thinking that economics is all about money. But that is not true, as economics is about decision making and how individual decisions add up to a collective outcome. Economics is popularly known as the queen of social sciences, as it studies economic activities of a man living in a society. These activities relate to earning and uses of wealth, as well as activities which are concerned with the problem of scarcity, choice, and exchange. In the early definition of economics, Adam Smith, the father of modern economics, in his book The Wealth of Nations, published in 1776, he defined economics as an inquiry into the nature and causes of wealth of nations. However, this definition was criticized by other economists, as it is limited in its scope and it ignores all the non-wealth aspect of human existence. Through time, its definition evolved as economists at different times have emphasized different aspects of economic activities and arrived at different definitions. From the wealth definition by Adam Smith, which obviously focused on wealth through production theory, to the material welfare definition by Alfred Marshall, which focused on production and consumption activities, to the scarcity definition by Lionel Robbins, which highlighted the problem of scarcity, up to the growth-centered definition by Paul Samuelson, which focused on production and consumption activities and achieving growth under scarcity. In the definition that we will use, economics is a social science that studies the allocation of scarce resources to satisfy human wants and needs. Knowing that scarcity is a fact of nature, we will analyze how people cope and deal with the phenomenon of scarcity. We will also evaluate how people make the best decisions given the other alternative choices, and how they efficiently allocate their limited resources in the objective of satisfaction. The study of economics is essential due to the existence of two extremes, scarcity and human wants. These two extremes, where in fact are opposite to each other. Human wants are unlimited and it varies from the basic needs to higher needs. In this sense, as soon as one want or need is satisfied, we tend to look and crave for more. However, most of the means of satisfying these needs and wants are limited, because their supply is less than the demand. And because of limited means and unlimited needs and wants, we have to make choices. Resources being scarce in nature ought to be utilized productively to derive with maximum satisfaction. The knowledge of economics will guide us in making effective decisions, but you have to take note that with every decision, there will always be an opportunity cost. And when we say opportunity cost, this is the cost of what we give up. Let's proceed with defining what is scarcity. Scarcity refers to the limited availability of economic resources relative to man or society's unlimited demand for goods and services. That means that society has limited or finite resources and therefore cannot produce all the goods and services we wish to have. The key to understanding scarcity is that it is caused by nature and it is not unlimited in supply. A scarcity is the basic and central economic problem. Scarce resources includes but not limited to natural resources such as air, water, minerals, and others. Laborer could also be scarce too. You might be thinking that air and water will never be scarce. Although our planet is made up of more than or less than 70% water, but not all places have available clean fresh water, and others are experiencing drought or shortage in water supply. Now I want you to think, what is your scarce resources? What are the things that you wish you could have in unlimited supply? Will that be money? If you say so, that is correct. We can consider money as our scarce resources since it is limited. We need to work more in order to get more money. We are often to make the best choice on how to spend our money in such a way that we will be able to somehow provide and satisfy the things that we and our family needs or wants. Time is also our scarce resources. We only have 24 hours in a day, 7 days in a week, 4 weeks in a month, and 12 months in a year. Therefore, we should make use of it in the best and productive ways. But what about if everything is unlimited? Will there be still a problem? Do billionaires have problem with spending their money? Perhaps the answer is yes. If all resources will be abundant, then there will be no need for us to allocate. However, if everything will be unlimited, we may not be able to appreciate and know the value and worth of something. Let's talk about the origin of the word economics. Economics has been derived from the Greek word oikonomikos or oikonomia. Oikos meaning household or home, and nomos meaning management. Thus, economics means household management. Household management now pertains to microeconomic branch, while the phrase state management presently refers to macroeconomic branch of economics. If you interpret household management as managing our home, that is acceptable. Although its scope is smaller, but household management draw parallelism with state management. Commonly, the head of the family faces the problem of managing the unlimited wants of each family members given the limited income. That is why budgeting and prioritizing are important decisions to make. This scenario is somehow similar with state management, but in a broader or larger perspective. Revenues generated by the government from the taxes derived from us should be allocated efficiently and effectively and prioritize the most important sector or agency such as Department of Education, Department of Health, Department of Agriculture, and others. An example from the four-piece household in selected barangay in Imo City, Cavite proved that majority of the family income are allocated for food which account to 59%, followed by water and electricity which is 10%. This example illustrates how four-piece household with average of 6 members manage and spend their family income. Meanwhile, in this photo, you can see the top 10 highest approved budget for the 2020 Philippines National Budget, which shows that the Department of Education topped the list with 654.6 billion. The representation of the household and national budget shows that we cannot allocate all our income in one particular sector or need, as this will push us to sacrifice the others. And as we increase our budget for a specific need, this will tend to decrease the budget for the other needs. Therefore, we should think and make decisions rationally. To understand further, let's talk about the elements involved in the objective of satisfaction. This includes resources, human wants, and allocation. Resources, also referred as factors of production or inputs. There are 4 factors of production, namely land, capital, labor, and entrepreneurship. These factors of production are the resources required to produce goods and services. Land, referred to as the gift of nature. It covers all natural resources that exist without man intervention. Any resources which can be extracted and cultivated from natural resources and is available for production is classified as land. Land as a factor is more than just the ground, as it includes air, water, trees, oil, soil, minerals, and many more. The payment for the land is called rent. The next factor is capital. It is a man-made factor of production that is used to create another product. This includes plants such as factory, building, warehouses, distribution facilities, machinery, and tools and equipment. These resources is classified as capital goods, as opposed to financial capital, which is the money that buy the tools and equipment in production. Capital is unique compared to the other factors of production because it can also be the result of production. For example, capital goods are used to create machines, such as computer, and this computer is used to produce something else. The returns received by the owners of capital is called interest. The next factor is called labor. Human resources are used to transform other resources into different products. This factor of production is the combination of people's efforts, skills, and abilities. Employees rendering their time and working in the factory, stores, and others are supplying labor in the market. The labor supply varies in size over time, as factors such as population growth, immigrations, war, and disease play a huge part in the quantity and quality of labor. Those who supply labor earn wages and salaries. The last factor of production is entrepreneurship. It is the process that integrates resources to produce new products. Land, labor, and capital all by themselves produce nothing unless they are assembled and put in the production process. Therefore, society needs someone who will start a business, bring all needed resources together, and take risks with their own money. Entrepreneur is the one responsible for managerial function that combine resources in a productive ways. Entrepreneurs contributed to the societies in developing new products, new production technique, or new way of doing business. Behind the success of big business are the abilities of their creators to innovate things with new ideas. Let's apply these factors in the production process. A pastries or cake business will require inputs to produce an output. Oven, mixer, flour, and butter is an example of capital inputs, as these goods are man-made factors used to produce another goods. Salt is an example of land as it is part of minerals extracted in the natural resources. Baker is an example of a labor resource. And last but not the least is the entrepreneur or owner of the business who invested time, money, skills, and abilities in putting up and managing the business. It's KSA time! It's now your time to apply this information. Let's try and think for a specific business that you want to have in the future. What business would you want to have? Your tasks are: number 1, select a business that you want to establish someday. Number 2, think for a unique name for the business. Number 3, identify all the resources to be used. Number 4, classify it according to factors of production. Human wants is the second element in the objective of satisfaction. It varies from the needs for survival to higher needs for a comfortable and meaningful life. Need is known as basic needs. It is essential for man's survival, an individual basic requirement that must be fulfilled. Wants is also known as luxury goods. These are non-essential things that we can possibly live without. It exists for those objects that can potentially satisfy a needs. Today, a need can be met in a number of alternative ways, and there are a variety of products that can satisfy the same need. After our basic needs have been satisfied, our priorities shift towards other ones. Given the limited resources that we have, we should spend our time and money in such a way that we get the maximum satisfaction. However, it is tempting to buy something such as bag, earbud, smartwatches, and others, especially now where almost all products are available online. Abraham Maslow developed a theory called a theory of human motivation, where he illustrates in hierarchical level the needs that we tend to fulfill. These are physiological needs such as food, water, clothes, shelter, and others. Safety needs for security and employment, such as financial security, health and wellness, safety against accidents and injury. Social needs or love and belongingness, which we can get from friendship, romantic attachment, family, social groups, community, and church group, and others. Esteem needs are the needs that will boost your confidence, respect, and level of status. An example for these are personal growth, such as participation in professional activities, personal hobbies, and further studies. And the last one is self-actualization, which include creativity and morality fulfillment. These needs aim to reach your full potential, exploit your talents, capabilities, and skills. In addition, according to Maslow, needs at the bottom, such as physiological needs and safety needs, are the needs that we should fulfill first before we move to the next higher level of needs. It's KSA time! Your task is to answer the question and justify your point of view. Is laptop a basic need for college students? Let's now proceed to the last key elements in the objective of satisfaction, the allocation. The satisfaction of our unlimited human wants, a society using limited resources, gives rise to the problem of allocation, which simply means making decisions about choices. There are two techniques that can be used to combine resources in the production. The first is called labor-intensive. It is a production process that requires higher labor input than capital input in terms of cost. This technique uses comparatively larger amount of labor and smaller doses of capital. An example of labor-intensive productions are hotel and restaurant, small-scale farming, and mining. The advantages of labor-intensive technique are: number 1, flexibility. Laborer, unlike machinery, can be used flexibly to meet the changing levels of consumer demand. Number 2, provide personal touch. Laborer can be more in tune with customer needs and wants. Number 3, provide tailor-made products and services. Laborer is flexible enough to provide custom-made products or services for individual customers. Number 4, provide feedback. Laborer can provide ideas for continuous improvement. And number 5, laborer can take over in any event of breakdown of machinery. The disadvantages of this technique are: number 1, relatively expensive in the long term when compared to machinery. Number 2, higher per unit cost due to lower levels of productivity. Number 3, relative inefficient and inconsistent levels of effort. Number 4, labor relation problems. Number 5, there could be a shortage of skilled labor unlike machinery. And number 6, problems in personal life could easily affect the performance of work. The second technique that can be used to combine resources in the production is called capital intensive. It is a production process that requires higher capital input than labor input in terms of cost. These processes are more likely to be highly automated and to be used to produce on a larger scale. An example are oil refining and manufacturing. The advantages of capital intensive are: number 1, reduce human error. Number 2, greater speed and uniform output. Number 3, technical economies of scale. And number 4, no problems with labor shortage. The disadvantages of this technique are: number 1, high cost of investments. Number 2, lack of flexibility. Number 3, machinery lacks initiative. It's now your time to apply this information. Which of the following pictures of industries applied capital intensive? Is it automotive factory, school, or garments factory?